the virtual trials like participating in other affections, I attain Buddha with all essential ingredients.
I think we finished 65. But these 65 verse 65, maybe Kelsey can read it again.
If I feel that I never have enough sensual objects, which are like honey smeared upon a razor's edge, then why should I ever feel that I have enough merit which ripens in happiness and peace?
When we do meditation on Lamrim, and then especially precious human rebirth, so this could be one quotation that we can bring into the practice, because here it is saying having this precious human life, and we can enjoy so many great things, and if we enjoy just a small bit and then make so many mess and so many kind of problem, and then it will not only the make our life difficult, this life, but also the if we are on the practice, people who believe in the way of Bodhisattva's life, now the internet unstable. Wait. Move, please move. This is a new mantra. Oh, they move. That's good. Okay, they're back. They're back or I'm back. So can you hear? Can you hear? Okay, okay. So people who have a belief yes, to become a fully enlightened, or great for the greater purpose, we can use this rebirth as for a great purpose to benefit, making use of this life that can be meaningful, not only to yourself, for others too. And this can be destroyed by this small, what we call it, pleasure or enjoyment of life, so-called. We might destroy this. This is great, because we are all in this kind of trap, like read the example, the bee.
Honey.
Like, can you read this? The first two lines. 65.
If I feel that I never have enough sensual objects, which are like honey smeared upon a razor's edge.
So we are kind of like in this kind of situation. I will be volunteer. I will raise my hand and say, yes, I'm in this kind of situation. We most of us maybe have not a strong understanding of fully enlightenment, bodhicitta, and maybe liberation. But we have to accept like all these the mess in our life, not only somebody is giving to us, but we cannot handle it. And even somebody is selling this, why we have to buy this? So this there are so many great examples that endless kind of suffering from outside as a condition has appeared in the great master's life, but it didn't stop him there. And for us, once like the whole day we meet practicing or had a great time, maybe a retreat for like 3 months, had a like such a great time. But then maybe one small thing, he faced a small kind of problem. For him, it's so big. And then he cannot bring the practice, whatever he has done in this retreat. So that means one small thing, even whether it's pleasurable or if it's kind of suffering, that stopped him somewhere. So we are in this kind of a situation. So if I say this in a Tibetan language, it will be much better. 제장가 겐 상부지니래 겐 엠바지니래 상에 간트지기 이나양 안주기 미다 친구지스미나 미 친구디 가르치는 거 버치고요. 거 까기요. 이 까야디 가르세베나 단다 정직이 고랑기 비겔이야. 한이석으로 딜이야. 차시 네가 대대부터 그 산이 가도 러시는 되고요. 이나에 티간로 대셔도 좀 티가 뚝셔져 버고. 예. 어째서 뭐 딘디를 차디고 시츄에이션 상황. 니지는 지도다.
So whatever the conditions which arise, whether they're sort of conducive and pleasant or constructive and conducive conditions, or those which are obstructive or complicated, when we look at our way in which we sort of focus our intent or have our aims and objectives, and what is it that stops us from proceeding towards those? And if we take the example that's given in the text here, what it is the example is our attachment to the honey which is placed on the razor's edge. Now you could argue that if you could just take the honey, quickly go and not hang around, then you might get away with it. But if you hang around too long, you'll cut your tongue on the razor, and that's the problem for us, that prevents us from being able to that's what stops us and halts us in our way towards our what we could call our greater aims, is that attachment to the kind of pleasurable sensations.
Then at the end it says, and without attachment, without clinging is more powerful than attachment. Clinging, then do all sort of the practices what you've been doing, like 6 parameters. So without attachment, you do the 6 parameters practice, then we can call it parameters. It's like a boat that helps you to get away from the samsara. But with the clinging, you practice we've been practicing. Whether you have intention to practice or not, it's always there. There's paramitas, not paramitas. What do we call it? 6 perfection. It's not a perfection. I call it perfection when you have a practice with kind of a no clinking. So before that, it's debatable. It's debatable. Without with the clinking, you practice generosity, like and like for the place where we're staying, practice of the generosity is needed, whether you like it or not. You are in the trouble, you have to pay. And you want your work to be done faster, you need to make someone happy by generosity. But that kind of practice is everywhere. Like if you are in a kind of mood of so strong attachment to somebody, and then to seduce or to bring that person in your life is a generosity. Start from the red rose. Then ethical conduct. Well, most people, it's difficult, but most people believes in order to have a physically, mentally strong ethical context is needed. Like for physically, people going to the gym, that's one good example. People who go to gym, then they have lots of disciplines. And they like the discipline because they like the result. That having a discipline, then seeing the result, like staying fit and showing off. All of this, right? It comes with the discipline. It's not a free. And then mentally, yes. And then patience. We call sometimes understanding. That's a patience. And the secret or the happiness of the marriage life is understanding. That's what we are always saying. That understanding is also practice, patience. Then what's left? Something. The meditate, concentration. The concentration means like if you are going through a rough time, then you say, please leave me alone. I needed time to think. That's concentration. Right? And then what? Wisdom. We're saying wisdom is something that we always say, I know what's right and wrong. But you might have a wrong view, but you will always claim like, I know what's wrong and right. Don't tell me about this. That's all we are fighting for, isn't it? You have a two brains and then you saying like, yeah, I'm right, you're wrong. And somebody saying, no, you're so arrogant and you listen to me. So all the fight starts from there. So all this, it's like as we need to survive, we have to take a breath, right? Breathing is necessary. Like all these things are always there. These 6 practices, but it's not never been a perfection. That's the problem, because it's not getting you to anywhere. It is getting you to the deeper. With the respect, I put like SHIT. With respect. But now, here, this last part says like, use this life to get the perfection from normally what you are enjoying. Oh, that's super, very strong message from Shantideva. Using normally whatever the things you are doing, it is bringing you a suffering. But now you change this way of thinking, especially clinging towards it, like not like the greedy bee, and then try to enjoy your life. Be a smart bee. This is good. Okay. Okay. So now let's go to the next one, 66. 대대레서 친지칠 니마치도 동바이 랑진 초테 초를 주고따라 레데라양 주거차.
Thus, in order to complete the task, I shall venture into it, just as an elephant tormented by the midday sun plunges into a cool, refreshing lake.
The kind Bodhisattva Shantideva always bring example. Like we saw so many examples, and here this example is so good. So now let's first discuss about the example. The elephant, and then climate change, in the kind of desert, and very thirsty. And then I don't think most elephant does not have a kind of like, okay, bring more effort, and then after maybe few hours later, there will be a river, there will be a shadow. I don't think they do have this kind of they hope, they have a kind of hope like get away from this situation. That they might have, but I don't know they have this kind of image in their brain. Why use in the Kalahari, that Kalahari desert? That's one of the biggest deserts, right, in Africa. And there were many animals, but why particularly elephant? Because when we have a saying, when elephant makes kind of move, like the direction, it will never return back, or it will never give up. That's an elephant style. The more Buddha said, my monks and nuns, you should walk like a elephant. It's no more like humans, we can turn like this. Elephant can't. Then elephant has to turn his whole body. So, and then he does not want to do that. So he will just move on. So focused. He's a focused. Where there is until they don't get a, I don't know, to the water, they will not stop. So this is the kind of example here. And then elephant sees a water, there's so much kind of a pleasure. Now the cause and effect. If the elephant does not wish to get out from this kind of a suffering, and he or she or it will not have kind of a this kind of a what do you call it? Language of
just as the elephant tormented by the midday sun,
tormented.
tormented by the
I did tormented 말이야. 가소로디.
like as plunges into a cool, plunges into a cool.
Plunges is like action.
Yeah.
Okay. It does not describe about the feeling.
No, directly. No.
Okay. So the happiness when the elephant sees this water is so huge. It's like a child who studied for months and months, and then he final examination finished. So happy. Like this. Like this. So the gift, this pleasure, we don't have it now. We were just like, okay, I go there, we enjoy today, go to the mountains. But the children today who finished their final examination, their happiness so big, so high. Why? Because they wanted to finish this like from the beginning, like wish I can finish this and then I will be so happy. They earned it. Like the elephant who saw each and every moment he came from when he realized this water is no more and we need to survive. So for days and days, when each and every time when walking your way, elephant marches, I don't know, steps, each and every step, they earn this happiness. Now go back to the we are not staying in the example elephant only. Now coming back, the practitioners who really want kind of enthusiasm towards the practice. If they really wanted to have this kind of enjoyment, we always talk about the joyous effort. That kind of joy has to be earned. So, like Adisha is one good example. Like Adisha, whenever something he felt like did something negativities, he will just do the prostration straight away. And then he will bring a stupa in front of him. And then he will feel like, I'm so happy today that I didn't let my negativity to grow. I didn't hide it. And then there's a pleasure. And like the monks and nuns, they need to go to this purification. Sojong, what is it? Purification day?
Yes.
Monks and nuns purification day. And does the monks and nuns have this kind of pleasure, like this great Adisha does have? And then if you look at the what is called Löpen Pau, also known as the Mutitayang. I don't know in a Sanskrit name. You have an idea? The who wrote this general Jisha confession, general compassion.
yeah.
No,
Confession.
confession.
downfalls.
Through this, at the end, he says, if I don't confess, I will not be happy. I will not happy. As I confess, it brings me the happiness. So I'm doing this confession because it brings me happiness. At the end, there is something like this. 다 퇴진샤나 다 대화를 never 주지. 마트 마샤나 대대민주 다소스. It's in the constant effect. If there's a confess, and there's a happiness. If no confess, no happiness. That's why I'm doing this. Not like it's necessary. Monastery has called me to do this. My master told me to do this. Not like this. So that becomes the purification. That's what I'm calling. Real purification is when it really brings ease to your mind. After doing the confession. And then that's a real sign of the purification. And when in the Bodhisattva retreat, we do kind of all this request to the Bodhisattva, and when the Bodhisattva smiles at you saying, well, now all your negativity is gone, my boy. You did a great job. And they smile and putting hand on you. Well, then this kind of a sign of happiness from Bodhisattva and you both coming together is the pure purification. We are missing so many things here. Like we do purification because we fear. Then it's, I don't know, it's a purification or more kind of a burden. And we don't know it purifies or not, but you are doing it because out of fear. And can we call it like a Dharma practice? Maybe not. Maybe not. It's debatable. Okay. So now this is the where we need to remember sort of our practice is going through this or not. Yeah, about that. Okay. Raphael, finish? Okay.
Having delight in the result through taking delight in the result. This section of the text.
This you can take in every practice is what you're doing. Whether you are doing nyungne or whether you are doing your daily commitments. Do we have this? And then in the latter part, it's so good. It says, if you don't like the way you're doing it, and it's more like the computer becomes like a frozen, then you need to put a refresh. If it is not working, and then there's a reset button, right? You don't want to do it, and then you feel like, no more hope. You do this, right? You know all this, and it comes back like, oh, something refreshing, new, then you like it. Similarly, we have to do this with our mood. So here, let's read about the 67. Tomnyam padang jenna large tundo torwacha. Like Sina Chimatang, Chiman debe tepang chas. 67, please.
When my strength declines, I shall leave whatever I am doing in order to be able to continue with it later. Having done something well, I should put it aside with the wish to accomplish what will follow.
Well, this is good. This is we wanted to hear. And this is very healthy. Shantideva not only mentioned it here, he said similar this in his earlier chapter. Now the one thing that we don't do, that Shantideva skillfully said, we need to take a rest. We need to take a rest.
Yeah, so this is the commentary by Gyaltsen Dhammarajin, and it reads to the commentary to the first two lines of 67, where it says, if one is affected by one's weakening strength, if one is physically and mentally exhausted by one's practice of virtue, one should relinquish temporarily to then start again when one is rested. For again continuing further on. That's the purpose.
Okay.
For that purpose.
We are not doing this. We are doing different than that. Like we've been doing this, I'm not enjoying, just stop it. Forget about it. That's what we've been doing. But Shantideva is doing it slightly different there. Saying, I need to take a rest because it's like one day I was playing a game and I played almost like continuously 3 hours. And then I felt like I need to take a break. And then my mind is like, I can play it. After taking break, I will come back and play it. So then after maybe 1 hour break, I come back and start playing. It's much better. So good. So I feel like I need to take a break every time to have a better kind of a strength. This could be happening. Like Man City does this. Many people are like, what happened? What's that in Man City? Right? So it's a break and then come back.
Yes.
Right. So so taking a break, that break means to come back to what you've been doing, you are much stronger. That kind of break. Not make you weak. So whatever at the break time, what makes you a weaker or distractions, it takes away from what you've been doing earlier, then you have to call it distraction, obstacle. So it's hard for us to do this because we have the great time, like very virtuous, very schedule virtues.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's very virtuous.
Virtual practice. Then morning and then afternoon. It looks like you need to go a little bit opposite of that. And then you feel like the morning you are doing and the evening you are doing like two different people. sometimes we are like this.
Applying ourselves in virtue. I mean,
Yeah,
it means
it
like
is.
that. Really applying ourselves to virtuous things.
And the practitioners,
people.
it's different. The morning, what he does in his practices, he will try to bring this influence, positive influence in his activities. And then he will do, sometimes the bodhisattvas and practitioners need to do some kind of things that normally they do, that they have to feel, even we enjoy this, it doesn't make any sense. Seeing this, and then going back to the path that you have, it is shown to you, you will appreciate more. But we are stuck like this bee. So that's a kind of a little bit dangerous. Okay. Or then even you complete the task that you are doing, and then it's like, for an example, like you do the morning session practices, it went very well. Oh, you had a great moment at that time. And even the break is there, okay? The break that made that second session much stronger than before. And now, next day, if you really enjoy the first session, the sign is automatically the next day you will want to do this. If you miss it, you feel like whole day missing. Like a person who goes to the gym every day and he misses. And then at the time of around, maybe he goes to gym around 4 o'clock, and then he will feel so much missing, like, oh, we have this experience, don't we? Or something like this. 디르도 왔단다디. 레버 신이 치마당 치먼 되베 대방 차 세티.
It says, sorry, I'll read the. Can I see the last two? I was okay. So it says, having done something well, I should put it aside, or move on, sort of thing, with the wish to accomplish what will follow. So you put it aside and then move on to the next thing.
주주의 변들봐. 주주의 변이샤. 세인이제 상하신 초도 주의지면 돈더디 두된다 두된 추이 잡고 된다. 아하. 쉽게 숨주성아. 쉽게 숨주성을 기스도 wal도와 이양 알아 강점비 기벨레 대 레버를 시네 타로 토벌 유나 대점비 초시 제네미르버 대외 합의 기회발레 치마당 대신에 양 대외 경 상신 초도 교회 기회를 치마 잡아서 권이 권도 개발 파바 신의 신로 주벌 대외 아마 제심버 대다 대방신 도로 작게돼.
So this talks. This is Tupinjiki Drapa's commentary to these second two lines. The last two lines where it talks about relinquishing things and then moving on to the next activity. And so, but it's also in relation to what's called the power or the practice of putting things aside for some time. And so he says, for whatever of those virtuous activities or deeds that you had begun, and then you've actually brought them completely to a final conclusion. So you completed all of those positive virtuous deeds. We shouldn't remain in a state where we're sort of content with just having done that, but we should look for further and more superior virtue. We should look forward to activities in the future of further or more superior virtue, and then again, when those activities, those virtuous projects or activities, whatever it is that we do, are then complete, imagine that this is wondrous, and a kind of so we should proceed on to more wondrous and more supreme forms of virtuous activity, again and again, increasing those into the future, and so that we again wish to engage in further and superior activities, and again, wishing to have that, having that desire to engage again and again in further superior activities. And as the previous ones are complete, we put those aside, and this is the way in which this is the way the Shantideva so there are two, and one of the things is to sort of having completed them and to put them aside. So this is included in. So when he says about putting them aside or relinquishing, he means having completed those activities, we move on and on to further and greater virtues. That's what Tujin Shugi Drapa is saying in his commentary.
The internet, internet list. Oh, this one? No, this one. Okay.
So going further, he says that you're going onward and developing further and further our ability, putting the last ones aside and going on and developing our.
Like we say, the mantra that the Heart Sutra mantra. Gati gati paragati parasam gati Buddhisa. If we asked the person who is on part of part of separation, he left the path of accumulation in order to get the path of seeing. So and then person who is on the path of seeing, he left the path of preparation in order to get the part of meditation. Part of meditation. And the person who is on the path of meditation he wanted to leave. He wanted to leave the path of meditation because he does not want to meditate. He wanted to become fully awakened. Then meditation is not necessary. He himself is the meditation. So this is how it goes. So we need to put this kind of habit with us. So that means we enjoy this, and then we feel like that has to make us stronger to get to the next goal. Once you are in the next goal, then we have to move on, not stop there. Like finito. Oh, so good. Today is a great day. Tomorrow is my rest day. Not like that. This all will happen. This all will happen when you have you see kind of a hope, the hope, and each and every time your faith to the fully enlightenment, your faith to the liberation. Whatever you've been doing, you feel your practice is getting near somewhere there. But we are practicing something like we heard once, many times from masters. You have seen some kind of text like sutra that it brings a pleasure. it gives you the full enlightenment. It gives you the liberation. And we feel like we believe it and go through it. It is good start, never enough. Because you are not experiencing anything. It's more like a parrot. When he's in the mood, he will say, "Oh, mani padme hum." But with the kind of great joy, he could never say, "Oh, mani padme hum." So it's the great joy it comes in, then he says like, "Oh, mani padme hum." Then it's his Om Mani Padme Hum. Otherwise, this Om Mani Padme Hum is my Om Mani Padme Hum, the teacher's Om Mani Padme Hum. So these are could be some kind of tips that Shantideva is trying to give us. Okay, enough for today. So we stop here today. Thank you. Okay. English translating. Okay. They're not moving. Please move. Oh yeah, they move. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Dedication.
Having thoroughly investigated in accord with all that I've heard day and night through the four reasonings, mind born of reflection on these topics of contemplation, may this discernment settle all doubts. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chinese and Tenzin Getso, please remain until Samsara ends. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality, and just like Samantha Bandhu as well. I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue, but the dedication praises the best by all the gone beyond victorious ones of the 3 times in order to have good conduct. With my heart going up with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have defined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you.
Grazie Tea.
Grazie Rinpoche, grazie Tea, ciao.
Grazie a te.
Ciao.
Grazie a tutti.